Golf, 10, 15, 20, golf outside, 25, golf 30, golf 35, golf 40, golf 45, 50, 45, 40. Yes, sir. Willie Golf, ladies and gentlemen, is running all the way to the state capitol. Give him 6.
What is going on again, guys? Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel. It's Tennessee. It's Vanderbilt. It's all on the line this week for Tennessee. It is all on the line for Tennessee. Vanderbilt comes in on a 2-game losing streak coming into this game with losses at home to South Carolina, on the road Saturday at LSU. You know Vanderbilt, the opportunity for them, they're already bowl eligible. Another win for them gets them an even better bowl opportunity. And this last win for them also would do what they would absolutely love to do, and that is ruin the in-state Tennessee Volunteers season, as that would pretty much put Tennessee out of college football playoff this week. Make sure you hit that like. You should share out the content. If you have not already and you like it, hit that subscribe button as well. Lots of content coming at you this week. We'll be live tonight at 8 o'clock. Dropped a video this morning talking about J.P. Estrella's season-ending injury if you're a Tennessee basketball fan as well. If you're a Tennessee fan, you should be a fan of all of them, but, not everybody's like that. But anyhow, I titled this The Biggest Game of the Josh Heupel Era. We can look at different games throughout different years, and we can stack them up and really what was the biggest ones along the way. To me, though, this tells me a lot about Josh Heupel and this staff. This answers the question to me, is Josh Heupel the guy or not? If Josh Heupel is the guy at Tennessee, Tennessee wins this football game Saturday night. Don't want any excuses on anything else. That, well, it's on the players, blah, blah, blah. The bottom line to me is this. You've got that opportunity to put Tennessee in the first ever 12-team playoff. You better take advantage of that opportunity, because I can tell you right now, if you don't, if Vanderbilt moves you back to a Citrus Bowl or Outback Bowl or Gator Bowl or whatever they're called now, or the Music City Bowl, yeah, there's going to be an irate, upset, pissed off Tennessee Volunteers fan base. That's just the fact of the matter. It's just what it is. Tennessee 9-2, Vanderbilt 6-5. And I'm looking back over the game I wanted to look at the closest was South Carolina. South Carolina resembles Tennessee, in my opinion, with their defense, with the way their quarterback is. Of course, Sellers seems to be getting a little better along the way. Nico keeps getting better along the way as well. This is a game to me. Tennessee's a double-digit favorite. I feel Tennessee should go down and beat Vanderbilt, and that's no disrespect. There's no big brother, little brother. There's none of that stuff. I just think Tennessee's a better team. And number two, you've got your playoff hopes on the line. You got the gifts you wanted last weekend with Alabama losing, with Ole Miss losing, with Texas A&M. That prevents any funny business from them coming up, sneaking in over them as well. I'm not that real concerned on Indiana. I think there's no case Indiana gets in, but we got the help we needed in the SEC. What more can you ask for? Tennessee is now firmly in the college football playoff, and if they take care of business this week, they'll still be firmly in the college football playoff when it's announced after conference championships and such. And they really don't need any more help. They're in. You take care of business in Nashville this weekend, you're in. To me, though, there's not a bigger game. You look back over the years, all right? You go back, I would say, game-changing losses for different coaches along the way. To me, 2001 SEC Championship. Tennessee loses to LSU a week after going to the Swamp, beating Florida. Of course, that game was rescheduled due to 9/11. Tennessee, after that big performance from Travis Stevens, beats Florida in the Swamp. They go to the SEC Championship. They had already beaten LSU once in that season. They went in. They knocked Rohan Davey out. Matt Mauck come in. John Chavis had no answer for the quarterback draw. LSU beats Tennessee, knocks Tennessee out of the national championship game where they would have played Miami. Now, it would have been a tall task to beat that Miami team, but I think Tennessee could have at least given them a game. But to me, Philip Fulmer never recovered from that 0-2 thing. They were preseason top 5. They ended the season getting blown out in the Peach Bowl by Maryland. 0-3 bounce back, ended the season losing in the Peach Bowl to Clemson. '04 was a better year. That was when Ames Schaefer come in. Of course, you lost both them. Rick Clausen finished the season starting quarterback. Tennessee did lose to an undefeated Auburn in the SEC championship game, so there was some redemption that year. 2005, there was the infamous mishandling of the quarterback spot, resulted in Randy Sanders being the scapegoat and taking the fall. That year, '06, David Cutcliffe come home to bail out Philip Fulmer, and they lost multiple games that they shouldn't have lost that season en route to, 4 losses that year. Still a decent year for Tennessee, but it wasn't what we went. '07, made it to the SEC championship, lost on Eric Ainge pick late, 2 of them late against LSU when they had that game in control. And Philip Fulmer never recovered from that one. '08 was it for him. Kiffin was there only 1 year. Derek Dooley, I mean, his first year, I mean, you could say that North Carolina Music City Bowl, they never recovered from that. But I would go as far as to say that Kentucky game, the end of his second season, you really could have made a case for him to be fired after that game. And he never recovered from that one. Butch Jones comes in. Butch Jones, he's scaffolding. He's making those steps, making the program better. Got to 2016. That was Tennessee. I would make a case for 2015 that they blew it. But 2016, Butch Jones had beaten Florida at home. They were in control of their own destiny. They go to South Carolina. They lose to that. They lose that game, which effectively costed them the SEC championship. But then, even more inexplicably, they lose to Vanderbilt the last game of the season, which knocked them out of the Sugar Bowl and moved them back to the Music City Bowl over in Nebraska. The program never recovered under Butch Jones. 2017, that's when the train went off the tracks, led to his firing, brought in, of course, the Jeremy Pruitt era. I mean, I don't really think there was any game changers in the Pruitt era. I would say Kentucky, maybe his third year, lost to Georgia. Things were looking pretty good up to the halftime. Something happened at halftime, and that program never recovered from it. They got blown out at home against Kentucky, and that was it. That was it. Now Josh Heupel comes in. 2021 was what it was. Good season, much better than expected due to all the departures. 2022, though, you lost at Georgia. That was one thing. Georgia won the national championship that year. But then you go to Columbia and you get blown out. We can sit here and call it the Connor Stallions game. We can call it everything we want to. The bottom line is it still happened. Last year, I don't think there was those games I didn't think went the way they should have last year, but there wasn't any program-defining games. This one now, you lost at Arkansas. Should not have happened. Said from the time, it's not a good football team. Tennessee lost that game. Lost to Georgia. Not the end of the road. Not the end of the world. They still have hope with it. Now you're sitting at 9-2 when those playoff rankings come out tomorrow night. Tennessee's going to be firmly in. Bottom line now is you take care of business. You're in. You don't deserve to go. That's all it is. This Tennessee football team does not need any more motivation this week. Number one, it's Vanderbilt. It's a rivalry. Number two, your playoff hopes are on the line. This is the season right here. This is the Josh Heupel tenure at stake. Am I overreacting to this? No, I'm not, because if you can't get the job done this week to get into the playoff, to give yourself a chance to play for the national championship, there's a lot of questions to me about this staff. There's already people asking questions about the offensive staff, and especially even more this weekend with David Sanders Jr. visiting Ohio State, and according to Steve Wilfong, him possibly going back again this week for the Michigan game. You can read between the lines on that one. If he goes back for the Michigan game, if he's back at Ohio State 2 weeks in a row, you can read between the lines where that one's going. There's already questions on this offensive staff. If they lose to Vandy this week, this staff is going to be under, you might as well, I know people are going to say I'm crazy saying this. I'm not saying hot seat, but this is a big opportunity. When you've got a chance to show you're the guy, you need to show you're the guy. The opportunity to put yourself in the playoff to play for the national championship. If they lose the first game in the playoff, that's fine. Okay? I mean, none of us will be happy, But the fact that they qualify for it, that's okay. All right? That you get in. That's the bottom line now. Get in, and then you progress from here. You cannot, if you're Josh Heupel, afford to lose this game this week. This is a must-win game for Tennessee. And again, I don't think I'm wrong in saying this. This is the biggest game of the Josh Heupel era. The Bama game in 22 where they got that victory was huge. The Georgia game a couple of weeks ago was a huge game in his program history. Beating Florida, beating Alabama. Listen, I'm not minimizing those accomplishments. But this game, when you've got that opportunity to get into the playoff, which it will do, these opportunities may not come along again with the players you're losing after this season. You've got to do it. And you've got to quiet some of this negativity that may be creeping in with the Georgia loss 2 weeks ago, the David Sanders Jr. potentially flipping to Ohio State. It is what it is, guys. We'll talk about it more tonight at 8 o'clock. Carrie and myself will be live. Hope to see you in there. Hope join in the conversation. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think on it. We can agree to disagree on this one. But to me, I'm looking for a guy to come in, get Tennessee back to where they're competing for national championships. You win this weekend, you're competing for the national championship. You're one of 12 teams that's going for that championship. Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel. Have a great rest of your day. And last but most certainly not least, it's a great day to wear the orange.